Kanpai! Welcome, weebs, to this week's episode of Kanpai Cast, episode 121. Let's have a one-to-one talk about winter 2023's anime at the 3-episode mark. So,
I think you mean 2024.
Shut up, I did the intro perfect last time, and then you just shut your internet, right? That's your fault. I'm defeated. God damn it. Right, moving on to housekeeping. Swear to love of God, your internet's
the energy is so different from the last time we tried this.
Yeah, it is. I was so happy, and now it's just like, oh, now we have to wait 7 years for your bloody... Anyway. Right, so moving on to housekeeping. So, you know, like, comment, subscribe. We read all the comments, and you know, do leave them this time, because I think we're gonna have some spicy takes on the likes of solo leveling at least. And yeah, so you know, without further ado, should we just get straight into it?
So, and oddly enough, fair number to go through. So
oddly enough, and weirdly enough, we actually have an even distribution this time. So we don't have to have someone start and end at the same time, which is bloody weird as hell. Never happens, yeah, right?
We do not have to end where we began.
Go on, Nasuth.
Oh, I get to start this time. All right. So, where do I want to start? Let's start with Hikari no O, because that one only has 2 episodes. But it is a season 2, so I sort of feel comfortable talking about it. This is definitely an acquired taste, as I desperately get over to the ratings. Acquired taste, 3-star. Acquired, there we go. Because, I mean, obviously you've had to watch the first season, so that immediately puts it into acquired taste territory. But I think that the art style will also turn a lot of people off, and make it a little harder to get into the story, so that also knocks it down a little bit. But the story is honestly really interesting. You've got, you know, a world that can no longer use fire, and people that get exposed to fire explode. And it's because of like some horrible war that happened in the past that basically ended civilization. But so this season seems to be focusing on, now that they're in the capital, there's an outsider group, which is one of the former divine clans, who is trying to reclaim the city, which is where the other gods, the other divine clans live. And essentially these divine clans, these gods, are just people who still have technology of the old world. So they can essentially lord it over the rest of the people. But they also can't use fire. So the only people that can use fire is this outside group. So now that they're invading the city, this actually could be kind of a problem. And it's really interesting to see that evolution of the story, where now that we've been introduced to the world, now that we've been introduced to the weird level of technology that they're bringing back, they're starting to get into like, what is the nature of a human? What is should humans try to be reclaiming fire? Like a lot of really interesting ideas. So I'm really excited to see where the rest of the season goes.
Cool. I assume the quality of animation seems all over the place with the what we're seeing on screen. I mean, is that just the nature of the show, or
it was last season, wasn't it?
It's really pretty consistent, but occasionally you'll get these really detailed still shots. But yes, that was a thing last season too. Otherwise, like all the rest of this stuff is pretty much consistent.
No, but like looking at this one compared to, there was a screenshot of a girl with like some yellow stuff on her face, right?
Yeah.
Like the detail and shading on her is so much better than this, right?
I mean, that's true of all anime to some extent.
I wonder if this in motion is more effective at trying to show the mood of the scene. It seems very perceptual to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say here's one of those still shots that I was talking about, where they go really detailed and add really interesting colors and stuff.
See, that seems to me to speak of somebody who's trying to give a perception. They're trying to give you a feeling in this moment with a big still shot that shows, it's something that I've seen in, say, Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse, where anytime you pause, it could be a comic book scene. And they've tried to just take that and do it to the hills.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a fair way to say it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Any other questions, or shall we head onward?
I'm happy to move on if you are.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
So I'm gonna pick up the other 2-episode show that we've got at the moment, which is Shaman King Flowers. So Shaman King Flowers is a sequel to the 2021 Shaman King, which got to be careful with that one, because there's a certain amount of spoilers that come from just knowing what goes on there. So is it not switched? Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very kind of you, Zeno.
No, I don't know why I wasn't switching. Yeah, keep going.
So the thing about Shaman King Flowers is it's built off of the very last episode of the 2021 Shaman King. And in that, I'm going to have to put some spoilers for that season, because it's essential that we have them for the context. And the context for that, for original Shaman King 2021.
So I put the spoilers up now?
Yeah, hit it.
Okay.
Yes, hit it. Yeah. So, moment of pause to let people switch. Now, the context is at the end of the season of that 2021 Shaman King is they actually followed the manga quite well, in that our heroes lost. Okay, the bad guy became the Spirit King, and the job of our heroes, Yo Asakura, is actually a dick. He hates people as much as the bad guy does. Right? So he basically sits down and says, "Oh yeah, sure, you can go right ahead and do this, but I'm going to be here to try and mitigate it. I still think destroying humanity is a bad idea, but I don't mind. All the other things you want to do, all the improvements you want to make, but destroying all humanity is not really the way to go about it." And so everybody else, he basically ends up absorbing the spirits of everyone the season has ever mentioned, and they all come to try and convince the bad guy to be a good guy. And when they manage to break his spirit, even his own mother's spirit appears and tells him to be a good guy again. And they save the day not by defeating the bad guy, but turning him into a good guy, which is a really weird take on the season. So the new season starts out almost exactly where the old season finished.
Should we take off spoilers now?
Yes. So the new season starts off almost exactly where the old season does, because the old season goes into a lovely, 10 years later thing where everybody's grown up and has kids. And we are now following Hana Asakura, Yo's son. And these guys here who are now his rivals. There's going to be a few others. There's, other new characters introduced in the second episode that come from the original Patch clan. And it's just a continuation of that series with the same kind of energy. Different characters, different attitudes, and it's a very shonen thing. So on this, just based on this context that we've got from from it being a continuation of that, I'm going to rate this as a nothing special but 5-star.
All right.
I was not expecting that. Not from that. Not from your speech and your presentation. I did not expect you to say that.
It's a nothing special shonen, but in terms of production and continuation from the show that people would like, it's a 5-star version of a nothing special.
There's quality there. It's just that quality is being used to tell a story that you've probably seen before.
Yeah,
essentially.
And it's a continuous story that we've seen before, and it doesn't have that same hit as the original show yet. But we're at 2 episodes instead of 3, so I'm not going to rank it higher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So that's all I have to say about this one for now. I'll see how it goes.
All right. 2 relatively quick ones. I kept them under 5 minutes. Incredible for us.
Because we know it's going to go wrong later. Right. So, I am going to talk about Bucchigiri. So, now, from what I've heard, this is supposed to be from Studio Mappa, but we just saw a different name appear in the top left.
Ooh.
Top left, right? So I'm not entirely sure what's up with that, but this is information from AniDB, right? The series is, I think, supposed to, I really don't know, but it's supposed to be like a different telling of like Aladdin, right? So we have our main character who has gone back to his roots, I think after his mum and dad have had a separation. Not 100% sure. They don't really spend any time on that. His mum has opened up a restaurant, and he does not get on with his mum. Right? He treats her quite badly. I'm not entirely sure why. Again, but he goes to this school that is just full of thugs, delinquents, ruffians, like this constant infighting. It looks like it is the set of the Fight Club movie. Right.
So far, this sounds like it could be the beginning of Stardust Crusaders.
Yeah, quite possibly. Right. And we've got our weedy, quite thin, protagonist who, is kind of out of his depth, and he ends up getting chased off to a shrine. He ends up damaging the shrine, and this spirit genie character basically turns up and kind of fuses himself to our main character and makes our main character like super strong. Now we're not talking. We're talking.
Got it.
We're talking. No. We're talking if Goku was a stand, right? That's like the best way to describe this, because the genie character, who you'll see depicted like bright pink and things throughout the show, he just wants to fight people. He wants to have the ultimate fight. And there is another character that is like him we have yet to encounter, right? So they just want to have a head-to-head and just fight. And the entire town was founded in the crater of... Wait, was it in the crater? Or did that crater become a lake? I can't remember. No, I think the town was founded in the crater of where these two characters originally fought hundreds of thousands of years ago, right? I say hundreds or thousands of years ago. I can't really tell. So yeah, so they're and we have 2 gangs within the school. The gangs are both fighting over our main character, who's depicted here on the right, standing up. And they both want them for their gang, and because they both know he is super strong, super powerful, but realistically he's just Kazuma, only strong when the plot kind of needs him to be strong. Like, most of the time he is weak and pathetic, but whenever someone tries to throw a punch at him, the genie like kind of interjects, or and yeah, you get the idea. The show is interesting, but this has made the rating for this really difficult. So I'm going to actually err on the side of caution. I'm giving this a 5-star nothing special.
Wow, I would have expected a low acquired taste, yeah.
Right, my expectations is that this is going to transcend into acquired taste. The animation is fantastic, right? The detailing on the backgrounds and everything looks good. Look at the background of this picture, right? The amount of
excess stuff going on over here, yeah.
Yeah, typically, a lot of shows, like the backgrounds are really plain and boring, and sometimes they can get even worse. This has a lot of character in it, just in the background, So there's a lot of potential here, but I just don't know where it's going. And 3 episodes is not enough to decide. So instead of erring on hype and expectation, I'm erring on caution this time. So, because I've been bitten in the butt way too many times, looking at you, Heavenly Delusion. So, yeah, there we go. I'll hand over to you, Nasuth.
Let's move on to Sengoku Youko? I think it's Yoko.
Yoko.
So this one, similarly, I am also being cautious with this, is a nothing special 5-star. And I'll tell you why. It's a lot like other fantasy shonen. In fact, I my notes keep referencing Inuyasha, because it feels a lot like Inuyasha. But it also does it pretty well. The art style is really good. So far the action's been all right. There's been comedy and tragedy, so they've got a little bit of everything. So our trio, well, it's 4 by the end of the 3 episodes, but our original trio, there's a fox spirit. That's the Yoko, the Yuko. And she's like 300 years old, but she looks like a kid because of course she does. She's like the heart of the team, right? Then the sage, or the sendo, who is like half demon. He's the muscle. He can transform when he drinks her blood. She transfers her power to him, and he turns into that thing you saw with the 4 tails and the white hair and everything. And so he can just smash everything. Very shonen in that regard. And then our Ronin, which is on the screen right now, he's our kind of fresh eyes on the situation. He is on a journey to get stronger when he runs into these two and realizes just how weak he still is. And so he wants to stick with them to get stronger. So the whole idea is that they're living in a barbaric age right now, where you've got people fighting each other. You've got people fighting they call them Katawara, but they're essentially like demons. You've got sages who are like doing crazy experiments to try and enhance humans with using Katawara power. And their goal, the goal of these 3, is to end this brutality, to end this brutal age. It doesn't matter if it's a spirit being brutal or a human being brutal. They will fight them and protect the people that are trying to make the world a better place. So very, very, very shonen, but I'm honestly enjoying it so far. I like the shades of Inuyasha that are in it. There's a castle that can punch people, so that's fun.
Okay.
Yep.
By the power of Grayskull.
But it is anyway. Very like this guy takes on a whole I don't know what you'd call it, a militia of monks who can fire a giant Goku beam at him, and he just takes them all out. So I mean, it is very, very power fantasy. But then he was also taken down by the castle that can punch people. So we'll see where it goes.
Is that the half demon mage then?
Yes, that's him.
Okay, so question time. Questions. Right. So, the characters, do they have a lot of elaboration to it? Like, do they properly explore the characters, or do the characters just feel like, yeah? Okay,
well,
so
we've only really explored mostly the Sendao, the sages hit past so far. We've seen like his childhood and why he hates humans so much and loves demons so much, but we haven't really gone into too much detail about the other characters. They kind of have with the new girl that they just picked up, but not a huge amount about the Ronin or the Fox Spirit.
See, the Ronin one is the one that I would kind of want to know more about, because typically, the Ronin is the masterless warrior. Like, why is he masterless? Did he betray?
We've been given hints. The reason he wants to get stronger is because he felt powerless in his village, and he doesn't like, the powerless. He believes that the powerless should seek strength in order to become powerful. But we haven't really. I can't remember if they've shown what happened. I honestly can't remember.
Well, it's fine. This does have my interest. What did you give this?
It's a 5-star nothing special because there is quality there, but it is also very, very typically shonen.
Right. Okay. Well, should we move on to the next one then?
Yeah. That's a Thaylien, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. What's the Thaylien?
It is a me. I'm going to go for controversy. Let's go for our hot take. We're going to go for solo leveling.
Oh, okay. So early. Right. Okay. Go on then.
So I gave this one a 3-star nothing special.
Wow.
Which I believe is higher than Nasuth's take on it.
Yep.
What did you give it, Nasuth?
Mine is a pass.
A 3-star pass.
Yes, 3-star pass.
Yes.
It wants to have interesting ideas and smart characters. It comes close a couple times. It's not enough.
So I went into this knowing a little bit about it, okay? And mostly from the fact that the premise literally is guy starts weak, guy gets the ability to get stronger, and so every single encounter is him going to get either to actually do his leveling, or it's him coming in from off screen having leveled and obliterating something, that other people would not expect him to. And this is kind of how it's gone in the first 3 episodes. So the first 3 episodes is what they did. The great memeable shock and awe episode first, where
they did. Yes.
I
forgot to put Crocs in sports mode.
Yes. That was the second episode.
Come on.
Oh, it was the second episode. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the grin on that statue
things
where it was, that was a properly memeable moment, but the idea is simply that everybody going in has in a world where dungeons basically are opening up, gates to dungeons are opening up across the world, certain people are suddenly finding that they are able to use abilities like magical abilities or similar, and everyone that has that gets like a rating at the start, from E up through to A and even to S, and of course with appropriate levels of rarity for it. You can have an affinity for combat, for healing, for anything. It's not really gone into, but our boy is the lowest ranked E rank hunter. Okay, so a usual E rank would have, say, a battle rating of 70, and he's got one of 10. It comes out in a later episode. And so any dungeon he goes into, you can safely assume is going to be low level and kind of an easy time. So the people that he meets up with to go into the dungeon at the first are like, oh, good, he's here. That means we're going to be okay, And he has his own reasons for being a hunter. He needs the money to help his mother and take care of his sister. And of course, the first dungeon we go into with him turns out to be hell on earth. A trial where they go into a deeper part of the dungeon they didn't realize was there and get trapped. And everybody, barring a few that are sensible and listen to him, gets killed. And killed in horrific ways. It is very, very shock and awe function. And the dungeon gives them an opportunity to run away without dying at the very end. But our boy sacrifices himself to let them run away. And when he does, just before he dies, the trial ends, and he's been given the opportunity to become a player, and putting this into the realm of video games. And that's where it disappoints, because the second he becomes a player and wakes up as completely okay in his bed, in a hospital bed, and starts doing his daily quests and things like that, this becomes, oh yeah, we know this formula. Okay, it's something we know. We can see how it's going to go. Every time that the game comes up with new rules, he's going to have to discover what they are, and he's going to overcome them, and he's going to then get stronger and stronger and not realize he's getting stronger. He levels up and puts his points into strength. He doesn't realize that now he can hurl himself about a room like an acrobat because he's so strong, and he can punch a steel-toothed wolf in the face and knock it backwards because he's that strong. And in his first instant mission, he gets to level 15 by the end of it, which puts his strength up to like... go on.
I think it's important to to define the difference between what he does with this instance dungeon and the gates that appear around the world.
Yes. So gates pop up and you have to go in and defeat the boss, otherwise the dungeon will break open and monsters will get into the real world. Okay? That's what the hunters are there for. That's why the whole world has got a hunter association to go in and stop this from happening. But his instance ones are only available to him, and he just can't leave them until the boss is defeated, unless he gets like a teleport stone to get out. But the whole point is there are trials for him as a player, and that, again, it just means that he's going in on his own. He has his own stat screens that he can open up, just like a video game. He has his own inventory. He can
I hate it so much.
Yeah, and so,
unless it turns out that he's literally in the Matrix. This is so fucking dumb.
Let Thaylien.
Yeah, sorry.
Even and the things that happen with this are simply just judging on the first 3 episodes. I know what happens in episode 4, but I'm not going to go into it. Just on episodes up to episode 3 alone, it is going to be the most boring plot unless there is some larger plot twist, like Nasuth said. That's why I'm putting it on a nothing special. That's why it's on a 3-star, because it just, there's no tension to it anymore. All of that's gone. He's going to keep going. He's going to be a hero, and he's not going to realize it, at first, until he starts beating monsters that A ranks can't beat and things. And when that happens, he's going to have to keep his identity secret for a bit, and somebody's going to find out, and the plot points. You can see them coming, and it just lost me at that point. So, any questions?
Nasuth, do you want to add anything, or shall I go?
I think I've added my main, not my main problem, but one of the bigger problems that I have with it. But I think you're probably going to be better at articulating some of because we've talked about this. So I think you're going to be better at articulating some of them.
Feel free to interject wherever.
Okay.
So I don't like this show. Right? To me, this is a 5-star pass or a 5-star poop. Right? I'd like it. Artistically, it is stunning. Right? A1 Pictures have done a phenomenal job animating this. I can assume that the adaptation from the manhwa to anime is done incredibly. For the screenplay is done incredibly well, right? But dear God, I do not think that the person that wrote this has ever used a computer in their life, right? The whole idea is that it leans heavily into, but he's now experiencing a video game. The thing that fucked me off the most is when he's trying to interact with the terminal that's like, you've got a message, right? And he's trying to physically touch it and it's not doing anything. And then he talks to his sister and his sister's like, oh, what? You mean open mail? And then all of a sudden it just springs open. It's like, why does it open for her? She's the one that said open message, right? Why is it just suddenly...
I thought he repeated it back. I thought he repeated it back after her, and that's what happened.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. Regardless...
Why is it vocal and not...
Yes! Yeah. Why is it fucking vocal when none of the other terminals are?
Well, his inventory is.
No, his inventory isn't vocal, right?
He opens the inventory by calling it, yes.
Yes, but he interacts with it physically.
Yes, he does. That's really, really... So it's a person that he's trying to communicate that this person has never played video games, that the main character has never played video games.
Right, but here's another small problem I have.
Inconsistent.
Why? Oh no,
Yeah.
no. Right, he gets attribution points that are separate from level ups. Right, that's not common. You don't get attribute points for completing quests. Quests which are do 10 push-ups, do 10 sit-ups, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right? Then
It was 100,
in the
wasn't it,
first
though?
100, but still, he's
Oh,
doing
nice.
the One
But
Punch
still.
Man training.
right? But still, right? And then what you call it? In the first dungeon he encounters, he is level 1. Everyone else is still on a ranking system. We don't even know if the level ranking system are intermixed at all, right?
Nope.
But the whole thing is, he's on a level system. He goes into a dungeon at level 1. After killing, was it the first 3 monsters he encounters, he goes up to 15 levels. And it's just
No, he doesn't. He's 15 by the time he finishes. By the time he takes on the boss, he's level 15.
No. It's before that. It is way before that.
No, he's not. He's level 15 after killing all the red wolves. And the other
that's
things.
before the
we
boss.
see it. Yes, yeah.
That's
by
what he's
the
saying.
time he
That's
takes
what
on the
he's saying.
boss.
By the time
No, because he levels up again after
15.
that.
Yes.
After he's killed the boss, he's level up again. We don't know what level he is in.
No.
No,
By
yes,
the
by the
time he takes on the boss, which means
Not
as he is
after.
entering the boss chamber,
Fine.
he is level 15.
Fine. Right, but the whole point
See,
is
no
he goes
context.
from 1 to fucking 15, right?
In
at
one
the
dungeon.
beginning in one dungeon, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you have played any RPG of any kind, right? You would be dead. Because you would not be able to fight the stuff that levels you up to 15. Like, it does not feel like it's written by someone who's ever played video games.
Well, that's the thing about those. That's trying to make the excuse of it by giving him those dailies before. Because when he went in, all his other stats were 10, but he leveled his strength up to like 30 or something.
Yeah.
Just from his dailies before he went in there. And so he put all his strength in, all of it into strength. That's how he could do it. He maxed his strength from his dailies. In theory, that's what they're trying to say, but they've done it so badly.
But it's not just that though. It's also the fact that so we see the first time. So what Thaylien was describing earlier, we had our the main character in a instance of a dungeon. It wasn't the first time he ever did a dungeon. It was the first time we went with him in a dungeon. We also see him do his first dungeon, and he is beaten to shit by goblins, right? Now, after doing X many dungeons, right, with a group of people and having his ass handed to him every time, I cannot believe that he would willingly go fight the boss monster, right, by himself with no equipment when he has an out, right? It doesn't feel right. I would have gone, oh, my equipment's broken. I'm going to hearth out of here, get it repaired, maybe come back. That's a WoW term. Sorry, Hearthstone.
Frankly, I don't understand why he didn't get a normal job instead, because he's clearly not cut out for this.
Well, he did have a normal job, and he did have a normal job according to the thing, and then he got allowed. He tested positive of being a hunter, just a really low rank one. And so he could, in theory, make more money in the dungeon.
Oh, bullshit! Because he talks about how little he makes.
Yeah, he talks about how little he makes, but one of those crystals. One of those crystals can power his mum's machine.
Yeah.
For her life support.
Don't get me wrong, Nasuth. I am of a like mind. As I'd rather go get a proper day job and then pay someone else to go do it for me. But
I mean, nobody can pay for his mom's equipment if he's dead because he died in a dungeon.
Yes.
No, you're right. But another side of this is I don't understand how, instead of governments creating military forces, conscripting the actual hunters, the only people that can actually fight these monsters. Why the government doesn't do this, I do not comprehend, right? Why they're even bothering to send soldiers with like M16s or M4A1s or whatever, just assault rifles that do nothing to the monsters. No. Like, I don't understand that at all.
They're not sending those. They've got them outside the thing to keep the civilians away from them.
Right, I'm pretty sure the red tape will do a good enough job. The civilians can't even go in. The civilians can't go in. It's only the hunters that can. Right? All they need is like a sign that says, there's a gate here. Right? That's all they need. Right? But, again, so I don't know why the
regular people.
What?
We don't know this, but maybe they are dangerous to regular people. If somebody walks too close, it's like a live power line. Maybe
potentially, but regardless,
the other one that got me was they're like, the narrator specifically says nobody can change their level after they awaken. And then in episode, what is it, 3?
Yeah.
They're like, but there's this other thing called a second awakening, which totally changes your ranking. And it's like, but you just said you can't change ranking.
But you can. I hate the unreliable narrator. If the narrator was the character that you're experiencing the world with, fine.
Yes.
But
the character knows about Second Awakening too. It's not like it's secret forbidden knowledge.
Exactly. But that's really, really strange to me. It's that he knew about that, and even he says it.
A narrator is akin to God. The narrator knows everything. Right? The narrator should not be telling you things that are just not factually true. Especially if you find out in 2 episodes' time it's a load of bollocks. Right?
If the narrator is a character in the show telling you the story,
that's fine.
Be unrelated. Yes, it's unreliable because they don't know the whole story themselves.
Yeah, but if they're just a disembodied voice,
if they're just telling the story as they found it, then they are allowed to be unreliable. But
yeah,
even if the character themselves knows that that's a thing, then how does the narrator not know?
Yep.
These 4 episodes should have been 2 episodes, right? The show is slow. It is like I'm
gonna stick with it because it's gonna be my
don't
my
understand
show
the hype around this. So
I want Nasuth to
This is a problem I have with adapted manhwa. Okay, a lot of manhwa rely on a lot of, same with manga and same with comics. They rely on a lot of tropes that the cultural assumptions account for, right? So, and one thing that really distresses me about the manhwa is that when they describe a system, they imply a lot of things in their own language that are just completely lost on a translated audience. There's what's the one that Strugel likes so much? Either way, no. The whole thing is that they describe their system and then they change their system, and then somehow the previous system they were on has no relevance whatsoever, and then the next one comes in and the next one comes in, and it's always some expansion on the theme, but but completely replacing the old one. So it seems like so much is lost in the cultural expectations of what should be explained and what isn't explained.
Okay,
when you adapt
all right.
a manhwa.
We've spent nearly 20 minutes on this. We should really probably move on.
Unless Nasuth tells me it really gets good, I'm not picking this up again. Right. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to talk about Fluffy Paradise. So this is a show that I picked up on Loz's recommendation. And I can easily nip this in the bud. It is a 2-star nothing special. So I am not going to continue watching this. It is nice. It is charming. It's endearing. It's an isekai. Our main character, who is an overworked Japanese woman, ends up passing away, and our deity of choice, let's just call him Bob, or Frank, like Frank. Frank turns up and basically says, hey, we're gonna reincarnate you in another world, but we need a favor of you. Could you help us pass judgment on whether or not we should wipe out humanity from this world? And we will give you whatever power you want. And the office worker, she's thinking about like, oh well, all I really want to do is just go home to my parents and just stroke the family cat, just play with the cat. And as a result, the god's very confused and gives her the ability to basically befriend any animal, right? So any animal will just instantly love her, regardless. This continues on. There's hijinks where the spiritual animals, like I suppose avatars of different elements like fire, wind, water, so on and so forth. And she basically instantly befriends one of them that belongs to the prince of the region, and so on and so forth. It's very fun. It's very endearing, but the problem is it's very generic, right? So it is not a show that I could readily see myself continuing. I haven't even gone to the point of watching the 4th episode. I'd rather just go like, nah, I'm okay. I've got so many other shows that I'm enjoying. I cannot be bothered with this one.
It sounds like this show is kind of epitomizing the spiritual goal that I have for my life, which is convincing every single animal on the planet that I am their friend.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But she just successfully does it. It's
so jealous.
I mean it's not bad, but it's just not amazing. There you go.
Does it seem like it's made for a younger audience, maybe?
Yeah, I can imagine that, but I can also imagine it is.
I'd say it's also escapism for an older audience that just want to see somebody getting along with
happiness.
fluffy things.
Yeah, they just want to see happy things. They just want to enjoy. They just want to experience hope. I mean, it's weird how many characters. Yeah, it's weird how many characters actually are super happy to experience, alternative worlds. Because I hate my old world. My old world sucks. Fuck off. And it's like so few of them want to go home. Anyway.
Alrighty.
You move on?
No questions. Carry on.
All right. Let's do the wrong way to use healing magic, shall we? Let's get into it.
Yes, please.
Now, I hear that I haven't watched episode 4 yet. I hear episode 4 kind of slows down a little bit, but just based on the 3 episodes I've seen, I'm going to give it an acquired taste 3-star. 3-star acquired taste. So far, the joke hasn't gotten old. It still seems kind of fresh to me, and does some fun things with the isekai trope that you don't usually see, like dragging a normal guy in with the 2 heroes. I mean, it's obvious that he's going to turn out to be the actual strongest in the end, but for now, I like that.
Yeah. A good guy that wants to help out the other 2. Is what that's his whole his whole shtick. He's a good guy. He wants to help out the heroes.
He's got a little bit of that Blandy McBlanderson going on with he just wants to go with the flow. He doesn't care what's what can I do to change the fact that I'm in this other world? I'll just go with the flow. What can I do to change the fact that I'm trapped with this crazy woman? I'll just go with the flow. So he's got a little bit of that going on. But I love the crazy woman.
Rose is best skill of the entire season so far for me. She is this mad woman who's discovered that healing magic can let her train beyond her limits and just heal through exhaustion and fatigue and keep getting stronger.
Yeah. So the first episode is essentially setting up our characters and the other world and the magic that's in the world. Healing magic is incredibly rare, and our boy happens to have healing magic. And so Rose, the crazy woman,
just love her introduction.
Yes, she just smashes in there and chases him down and steals him away for herself because she's going to train him.
My king, I have returned from patrol. And so Is this one of the heroes? No, he's just here by accident. Okay, then. Well, I hope they do well and tell me what they're like. By the way, King, what was the point of my magic test turning green?
Yeah.
Green, you say? You're coming with me, lad. Just leaps out the window with him.
And then, but then episode 2 is about him training and learning to use his healing magic. It turns out that he can use it to literally restore his, if he runs 10 miles, he can restore his tired muscles and repair the damage that running does, and just keep going. And so, that sets up for, as long as he's flooded his body with healing magic, he can create some crazy things.
Yeah. But I love the progression of this, because you say he's got that little twinge of Blandy McBlanderson, right?
Little twinge.
But but I love the fact that when he interacts with the other people he's introduced to, the rescue squad that he's taken to be part of,
the crazy man.
The other guys are crazy. They're evil looking, and they're gonna, But
they're actually just nice. They're actually just really nice.
Their job is to grab injured people and take them back to the medics, take them back to the healers. And so they have to be physically fit and able to run and carry somebody and dodge attacks. So they are proper combat rescuers.
Yeah.
And when one of them jokes about by stealing his lunch, and then the next episode comes out to give him his lunch while he's chatting with the heroes. There has this whole fantastic switch of personality. Do you really have time to be giving me my lunch? Is this what I'm getting from you? So, yeah. What would it be? And then he goes off and has a complete fight with this guy, an all-out punch-out, because he's got used to the nasty humour they have.
Yep.
And you can see him getting more and more frank with people and more upfront about what he wants. And I really do like this progression that they're going with him.
Oh, and then they show the actual demon army, because of course there's a demon army, right? They actually show the Demon King at the very end of episode 3, and they are so over the top already. I love it. I'm
they
here
are
for it. I'm so here
chewing
for
the
it.
scenery kind of evil. And of course the traditional demon general, who is a woman with short bob cut hair and swimsuit with armor over the top of it. Kind of look.
But again, despite all this praise, it is only a 3-star, because I can already kind of see where it's going with him becoming the strong. I'm hoping that they go for a darker tone.
Yes.
But I can already see he's going to become the strongest.
I really hope that he's just an equal to these two. I hope that what they're going through, he's actually supporting them, and they're the ones killing demons and things. He becomes. I'm hoping that he becomes strong enough to punch God in the face. But at the same time, I hope they do as well.
Because I do want to see more of those other two characters. The class president, the girl that's on the screen right now, she's secretly totally into. Well, she was secretly in the other world, but very openly in this world. So into this kind of thing. She is such a weeb. And then the guy is given,
she gets lightning magic, and the first thing she does is So, what's up with her?
Yep.
So, lightning, it brings out the edgelord in all of us.
Anything to add, Zeno? Because I know you've been watching this too.
No, I think everything you said is accurate. I haven't watched the 4th episode either. Kind of being told what it covers put me off watching it, kind of thing. I'm like,
From what I understand, he goes back for more training, which is just kind of okay, but haven't we done that already?
Yeah, I think everything you said is justified, so should we move on?
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Go on, Thaylien.
All right. I'm going to go... I have found my disappointment for the season with the strongest tanks Labyrinth raids. A tank with a rare 9999 resistance is kicked from the hero's party. Yeah, so this
and that's
is
the
a
review,
world...
everyone. You've heard the name. That's all the time we have.
That's the whole name. Yeah. So, okay. Premise of this show: adventures in it is a fantasy world, and adventurers in this world are apparently, they don't explain it. They stand out because they have what's called an absorb shield, okay, which takes damage for them instead of them getting hit in the face. And so, depending on how strong you are, it's stronger depending on how your resistance skill is. You can take more damage before getting hit. It's also like a source of power for special attacks. So you have this, basically, it's an aura of magic that protects you, takes damage for you, and can also fuel your attacks. And now our boy, up here with a giant shield, is a tank. And so far, he knows that he has 2 skills. And there are 2 further skills on his kit that have not been revealed yet. In the first episode, we see that he has the provoke skill and the defender skill, okay, which allows him to take damage on his shield and tank it, basically. He's just an ideal tank. Draw attacks to you and take things, because his tough body gives him a shield that has 9,999 points. So he can take a lot of punishment, and he heals quickly from damage he takes. That's his. He's also immune to status like poison because of this. That's his 2 skills that we know. But his shield keeps breaking for some reason. Okay, even though he's got the highest stat, it just breaks at odd times. And they're convinced that it's his 2 unknown skills that are doing it. So the hero's party kicks him. Okay? He then goes home. The reason he's there is he wants to find the ultimate goal of the dungeon is to find a wish-granting device or item at the end. And he wants to heal his younger sister, who he's very much caring for. And when he's kicked out of the party, he just goes home to see her. On the way, he finds a companion, who is a homunculus. And she has the power of identify. Apparently this is such a rare skill, that's why he doesn't have his other skills identified, because nobody will actually identify things for him. It's got nobody around that can do it.
Will or can?
Can.
Okay.
So there is a person with identify, but they're in another city somewhere, and that's the only one he knows. So this homunculus girl has identify, and apparently she was kept as a slave to use identify on things and work for slave labor. So he rescues her from a monster attack and takes her home with him. And she identifies his other 2 skills. The skill that meant his shield kept breaking is sacrifice shield. He can treat others' shields as his own and take damage that they would normally take. And also, if they use a skill that costs them their shield, it comes out his instead, as long as they're on his team and he's protecting them. And the final one that makes him the protagonist of the show is he can use an attack that deals damage multiplied by the amount of damage he's already taken. So if he's got healers on his side and he's taking damage for all his team, he can build up thousands of points of multiplier and attack incredibly strongly with a single strike. Right?
Author doesn't know what a tank is.
But I mean, that's 3 skills make him quite a good tank: provoke, hard body, and sacrifice shield.
Yeah.
That's 3 classic tank abilities. Right. So the 4th skill is what makes him the protagonist, not a tank. Sadly, this is a 1-star nothing special.
Wow.
Because it does fuck all with it. Okay? When he goes home to see his sister, he stays there for the whole 3 episodes. There's nothing going on. Okay?
Yep.
He introduces this girl to the village. They go on a slow life thing where, they go to show her that they harvest magical plants and things. That's it. And the 3rd episode, his friend, the healer from the hero's party, shows up, because the hero's party broke up without him there, because it turns out the hero's special ability used up thousands of points of his own shield, and so without this guy using sacrifice shield to allow him to use it and fire it off at will, he could barely kill any tough monsters with it. So basically the hero's party broke up when they failed at getting to places where they had succeeded to before with their tank on board. even when they brought on 2 other tanks to replace him. So we have a resentful hero. The healer's gone to go visit the tank, and we leave it with just this thing of they've stood around in their house talking for half of the entire 3 episodes. Right?
Just getting images for it gave me shades of Killing Slimes for 300 years.
Gazebo things.
In terms of how much wasted time.
This is one of those shows that for our viewers, I'm going to stick with and find out how bad it really is. But if it doesn't do anything, I might not survive this. It is bad. And it might go down to poop tier.
Right. So are we moving on then?
Yeah.
On that note,
Yes, we are.
Are we done talking about Beast Tamer, and we're going to talk about Beast Tamer? So, I'm going to be covering Banished from the Heroes Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. Season 2.
Oh.
Now, this is interesting because I watched season 1 and I decided not to watch season 2 because of season 1.
Right.
Tell me about
it. So, everything that Thaylien just said here, right?
But it's supposed to be the point of the show.
I'm going to give this a nothing special 2-star. Right?
Oh, shit. 2-star. 2-star. There we go.
So it has an interesting premise to the show. So the idea is that when you're born, you are born. When you get old enough, you receive a blessing from the god of the world. You don't really see much of the god's activities or things like that. So actually, tell you what, I think we actually have. I think I added the first season the system. Let's go to B.
You should have, because I was watching it when it first came out. Was I not on here when it first came out?
No,
might not have.
Right. So we don't have it. But the whole idea is that everyone gets a blessing, right? And the blessing will basically shape your path in life. So you could be like a sword expert. So you're masterful with swords. You learn swords really, really well. You could be a brawler, which just means that you are really good at improvised weaponry and things like that. So but a lot of the time the blessings often heavily influence your decisions. So there is this this quandary. Are you quick to a fight because that is your nature, and thus that's why you have the blessing, or are you quick to a fight because you have the blessing granted to you? So it's like which. So there's
nature
this
versus nurture
paradigm.
in a
Exactly.
way.
And in the
very, very big paradigm of nature.
In the first season, we meet the one that's given the blessing of the hero.
We still have her in this season as well.
So that's was the original in the first season. She's the hero, and
we have our main protagonist, who may or may not appear in any of these screenshots. I can't remember because the screenshots are so dull to take. But he basically gets kicked out of the party in the first season. It's like, oh, you suck at your job. You better leave. Okay, and just fucking leave.
What's his job?
Let's let the hate flow.
He was basically a tactician. He was a tactician. He basically was a strategist. He just he was really smart at fucking organizing combat and things. Anyway, so so he basically decides to set up a shop in the town of Zoltan, which is like this port town sort of thing, and he basically becomes an alchemist. And sells his wares and things like that. That's basically the whole premise of the show. He doesn't want
our favorite
aspire to be. Oh, that's
going
him.
From an action hero to a shop owner. Our favorite trope.
Yeah. So he basically becomes. He never wants to aspire to be anything more than what he does. But even though he's more skilled than he is, he doesn't want to answer the call of his blessing. And that's basically where this is. This is like, it's just continuation of season 1, where he's just doing shit. Nothing really happens. The end. Tell you what, slice of life, isekai. Bam. There you go. That's what this
is. It an isekai? I don't think it's even an isekai.
Oh yeah, no, this is a fantasy.
It's just a general fantasy. It's a
slice of life fantasy. There you go.
I think what we need is a specific definition. This is a fantasy slow life.
Slow life fantasy. Yeah,
yes,
and
that's technically true. Yeah,
we've had a non-zero number of these shows. They're all the bloody same. The animation isn't that particularly wonderful. The end. Let's move on to them.
I feel like Xeno and I are going to want to talk about this one a bit. This is The Witch and the Beast.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I don't think we come down on the same point on it. I'm giving this an acquired taste 3-star, which is still quite high because there is a lot of quality here. But like, I feel like this a 14-year-old wrote this the same way that I feel like a 14-year-old wrote Death Note. Like it's really stylish and fun, but the characters kind of feel like they just know things sometimes. And it's also definitely kind of a slow burn. Yes, the first case is deceptively quick, but the next case takes like 2 episodes to solve, which is fine. I like me a slow burn. And it's also got a lot of shades of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or, you know, something of that type of thing. Because essentially what we've got here is witch hunters. Not just witch hunters, but definitely witch hunters. Who, I mean, they handle all kinds of magical stuff, but their main focus is witches because one of them is cursed. And the only way to remove the curse of a witch is to get her to fall in love with you, to make her change her mind and remove the curse, or as we find out. No,
that's the first one. It's the same one.
Oh, it's the same one?
Make her fall in love and change her
what's the second one?
Change her heart. Kill her.
No.
Yeah. Because the third one is the... Yeah, because the third one is the stupid one.
The third one is the kiss her. Yeah, the third one is kiss her, which works for some reason. And apparently nobody knows about, except for this group that they're in, which is the Order. The Order is what kind of gives me shades of Buffy as well, because you've got the Watchers in that one, right? You know. But so while they're waiting for witches to come in, they have to take on other cases, which, I mean, they're kind of fun. They're pretty good. It's very stylish. It's incredibly stylish. I love that the magic is all done with like runes and stuff. Jeez, what else to say about it?
May I?
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the show has a lot of potential behind it, but it feels it's falling short only because they are dragging out the narratives. There are literal scenes where characters are kind of like stood around waiting, or they're spelling out the fucking obvious and things like that. Now, I don't feel at any point in time the show is trying to be the mystery thriller that Death Note was trying to be. But I do agree with Nasuth's sentiment that the writing seems to be that target for a much more younger adult audience that may not necessarily pick up on a lot of these tropes. It's like, oh, but it turns out it was this person all along. The great thing is that the male mage, who is actually the guy with the coffin there, he comes across as if he knows everything. You kind of just ignore him, right? He's like, he comes off. He kind of comes off with this whole mentality that he has worked out everything, so on and so forth. But he doesn't really give you any indication of what the thing is. But the big thing is, he does so little. It's like, yeah, I don't care what you fucking think, because let's face it, you're here for exposition. That's it.
I think it's more like that kid at the at school that just says, "Oh yes, I knew about that," after it actually happens.
Well, but I mean, he also does stuff like make the blood bags, you know. So clearly, he does do some things.
Okay, sure.
But it's like of little relevance, right?
I think that's arguable.
Well, okay, so to I mean, luckily it's only 3 episodes, so like, fuck it, we're just gonna rip off the Band-Aid here. But the big thing that Nasuth is referring to, the blood bags, is basically they're having to trick
what they think is a witch, but is a killer. Yeah,
I was just gonna go with the antagonist of the most recent episode, and the antagonist needs to kill. But what they don't realize is what they have killed aren't real people; they are these blood bags. But the relevance of that is only to then and there, right? So it's like it doesn't matter if they were blood bags or not. The rest of this fight is still going to play out.
No, because they're, like, the fact that they're now weakened makes it easier to fight them. Like, they try to do magic, but they can't because the Grimoires is eating their insides.
Yeah, but they would still win regardless.
Well, probably, yeah, because it's shown. Well, it's
I mean, fuck. Okay, fine. So instead of actually them using the blood bags, they used the coffin, which they specifically didn't bring because they didn't need to.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's multiple ways of writing this, and that's the only reason why it's not as pretentiously shit as things like Death Note. But it's okay. What did you give this?
3-star acquired taste, because it's very stylish and it's fun. It's just not. I mean, it could be a 2-star, but it's not very deep. I don't hate it. I don't hate it like Death Note. I feel it's like you said, it's a little smarter than Death Note, but not by a huge amount. It doesn't make me hate myself watching it.
Yeah. So I think this is one that I will continue to watch, but we'll see by 6 episodes. Right, should we move on?
Yes. So, this one makes me feel bad for watching it. I'm going to go with Gushing over Magical Girls.
This one makes Xeno feel good watching it.
And I want to preface this with a special new stamp that Nasuth's popped into here, which is, I can't believe it's not hentai. Okay, we're prefacing it right now. Do not watch this if you are underage or are in public. Okay, that's just not how you.
Or with your family. No. Like if your family is in the same. If you have housemates, don't watch this. Right?
If you have somebody that lives next door that sometimes comes and knocks on your door to borrow some sugar, do not.
If you have a pet goldfish, it will judge you for watching.
You are going to be judged for watching this show. So, with that said,
what's your real rating, though?
I am going to put this as a 2-star acquired taste.
Okay. Part of me feels that's too low.
I know it's a little bit low, but I still feel guilty for watching it. So, the premise of this show is that there are another world
tickle torture?
Yes, tickle torture. Just stop it.
Oh my god!
Stop it.
Now just let Thaylien.
Okay,
just let Thaylien.
Sorry.
So there are creatures, magical creatures that look like that are mascots. Okay, in another world, and they are having a battle, a war, an ongoing war between evil mascots and good mascots. And so each set goes to our world, or this world that's supposed to be ours, and brings on people that they can use to fight the battles for them. So the good ones create magical girls, the bad ones create villains and monsters. Now, our main protagonist is a girl that is absolutely obsessed with the Tres Magia, the 3 magical girls that live in their town and protect it from the force of evil. Pink, blue, and yellow, or magenta. Was it
sulfur?
Magenta, sulfur, and the blue one is aqua or something, or
something like that. I can't remember what the blue one is.
Yes. So, and a mascot appears to her one day and offers a chance to become a magical girl, and she of course says yes. But when she transforms, she's a villain, and the transformation.
So can we have the stamp again? Can we just put the stamp? There you go.
Yes. So
the
transformation is contains partial frontal nudity, puts pasties on her tits, and puts her in super tight cut leggings as well. Then they make a point of this, and very low cut as well. Yes, and to get her to stay being a villain, the mascot actually threatens her with releasing the video of her transforming onto Twitter, their version of Twitter. So, but we have a solid thing of this girl awakening to the fact she doesn't actually love magical girls as a fan. She's actually a sadist who likes, and a proper one at that, a proper dominatrix style sadist, where she wants to see pretty girls twisted up in a bit of pain or in pleasure, and see all the sides of them that brings out. So she starts off by using her magic thing to make a plant that instantly turns into a bondage monster. And when she's confronted by the magical girls, which ties them up and presents them, and she spanks them.
I just want to remind everyone.
Until they cry.
Yes.
And it just goes on like that. The whole premise of this show is this awakening of this person as a villain in the form of a dominatrix sadist. And the fact that every encounter she goes through, apart from one, she's not trying to win the battle. She's trying to bring out what she sees as the cutest sides of these girls. Even her ally, when they show up, she locks them into a giant magical light bulb and electro-stim tortures them until they start... yes, and then when she lets them out again, actually gives them proper aftercare, cuddles, stroking them down. And they immediately... This girl, and immediately falls in love with her and wants to be her best friend and have that happen again because she's now looks up
That's
to her.
better not awaken something in me. Oh no!
Yeah, and it definitely awakens something in her. Okay, let's put it this way: it awakens something in her, and it's only the assurances that these girls are at least 16 that is stopping me from literally self-reporting myself on this. Okay, this is a wild concept, and I hold my hand up to the point of, I'm going to keep watching it. I am not proud of that fact, though. So, any questions?
I'm 100% watching this because it is such a distinctly unique concept. It is doing its due diligence in being funny and a parody of what's called magical girl shows. This is 100% not going to be for everyone, right? There's going to be plenty of people like this. And if you just if you want to watch it and then report back, and you turn to us to say you're disgusting individuals, but you secretly keep watching it, we're not going to judge you. In fact, I recommend it. It is honestly
she blindfolds this girl and then gives her blindfolded stimulation. So the blue one is actually halfway on her side already. And
so
what's funny, I love the funny, when you say about the funny, the yellow character in this, the yellow magical girl, is actually a fucking brawler. She puts on this nice front of being the shield for her team in front of her fans. But she prefers forming gigantic fists and beating the shit out of bad guys when she can't be seen. Yeah, and she starts fights by being absolutely abrasive to everybody.
Yeah, she's very antagonistic. She tries to basically give herself justification to let loose. It's a very interesting show. I'm 100% continuing to watch it. It is not safe for work, right? At all.
Not safe for home either. It's just not safe.
But it's fucking hilarious.
It's not safe for anyone, but... Right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
It's just not safe.
It's oh god, Nasuth, you watch this and you'll fucking die laughing.
Probably.
Anyway, right, should we move on? So, okay, so I'm going to go on to something a lot more wholesome. And I did it.
Why? When you've got this one?
I'm going to leave that for last because I think that's the best one on my list.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with Honkai gals are super adorable. Right?
You mean Hokkaido gals?
Hokkaido. Sorry, yes.
Honkai is the video game with the waifus.
Yes, Hokkaido gals are super adorable and trying to be Marin from My Dress Up Darling, but they're failing horrendously. This is... I'm going to put it at like a 4-star, nothing special. It's higher quality than a lot of the other shows that are on this season, but again, it still falls in the nothing special category. This is one that I'm probably going to be dropping. Basically, it's kind of trying to show the slice of life, slow life in Hokkaido, where it's like very cold constantly and it's very snowy all the time. We have our main character who is our dumb male protagonist who ends up... there is a content warning of nudity in this, but I don't remember. I think it's just like, a bit risky if anything. This does not. This is
nothing
not worthy.
Really more risky than that shot.
Yeah, this is not worthy of the sticker, I'm gonna say, right? But continuing on, we got our main male protagonist who basically comes from Tokyo and he's trying to adapt to a life in Hokkaido where, it's snowing all the time or something to that ilk. And, he has to rely on a transportation system that's like once an hour. He's not used to that, where in Japan, like the trains or the buses, like every 5 minutes, if that, so on and so forth. So it's just a slow life show. It's fun, it's entertaining, but it's not My Dress Up Darling. It's not Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. It's not a lot, so it's fun. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. It's just not for me. I've seen other stuff.
Fair enough. It's trying to capture that thing of a super wholesome but very flashily dressed waifu character for the show.
I mean, it's trying to do the whole gal thing, right? Which Marin dominated, right? Marin dominated the gal scene, instantly, sort of thing. But it has potential. But I think the thing that really holds it back for me is actually the main male protagonist, as he is so like plain and bland.
He's just typical self-insert protagonist faced.
Pretty much. I mean, like Gojo in My Dress Up Darling had so much more to him, like the whole the Hina dolls. I think they're called Hina dolls. Yep. Even the main protagonist from The Dangers in My Heart, he actually has a lot more going for him. You often hear inside his head, like, what is he thinking and things like this. But Blanky McBlank is he's the real thing that drags the whole thing down. Anyway, I don't really have anything more to add, so should we move on?
Doesn't sound like there's too much more to say about it.
No. Right, what are you going for, Nasuth?
Let's do the Unwanted Undead Adventure.
Cool.
Which I am giving an acquired taste 3-star. You may or may not agree. For every good couple of good things, there seems to be a bad one, so I can't really rate it too highly.
Yes.
Episode 1 has to pack a lot of info into it and kind of moves pretty fast, which I appreciate, but also it might be a little too fast. Does that make sense? Like you go from him encountering the dragon to basically leveling up by the end of the episode.
Yeah. So, what's the premise of the show, Nasuth?
Right. So So the premise is this dungeon appears. Well, there are dungeons just around in the world, and our hero is a low rank adventurer. He's not super strong, but he can kind of handle himself against the stuff in this dungeon. And he usually works alone, although I can't remember why.
It's because he was so low rank, people didn't want to take him.
Exactly. He's experienced. He's had 10 years experience, but he's low rank.
Yes, but he's still really low rank. But it's his dream to be an adventurer, to be the adventurer. So he heads off the dungeon again. And this time he finds a secret passage off to one side. And he's like, oh my god, I could make so much money if I told the guild about this. But what if I explored it instead? And then he encounters an angel from Evangelion and gets eaten. But
Yes.
But
He encounters
apparently
a dragon.
Yes, it's a
eaten
dragon. It's a dragon.
and pooped out as a skeleton.
Yes, yeah.
We hope pooped.
Somehow he didn't die. He became a skeleton instead. But it turns out that there's a thing in this world that monsters can achieve called existential evolution. So if they kill enough other monsters, they can kind of like become the next level. So he goes from skeleton to ghoul. Yeah.
Yes, to a ghoul.
Yeah.
And I think his goal right now is to eventually get like vampire.
Yeah, he wants to become human again, so he's trying to go for more human and human
Out of
upgrades,
interest,
as it were.
Nasuth, have you seen the 4th episode?
No, I haven't.
I
Okay.
have.
Yeah, as have I.
So, okay, so something you said about things they could do, spend a bit more time on. There are apparently 3 magics in this world.
Yes.
You know, it's actual magic, then what's the other one?
Spirit magic and holy magic?
No, it's
Divine
divinity
magic?
is the third. Divinity
Yeah.
is the third one, but it's like a type of magic that enhances your body, like techniques and
Yeah,
things.
spirit magic.
Then there's actual magic that lets you cast fireballs. Then there's divinity, which allows things like healing
And usually those
and
people only have one or
preservation of
two.
things. Yes,
But
and he
now
has
that he's got all 3. And he can basically,
But very
because he's
low
an
level.
undead, and he when he kills a monster, he like absorbs its spirit energy. He can basically has limitless magic. You know.
Well, no, he can push through the boundaries he had as a human.
Yes.
Because he can absorb the strength of monsters. So he quickly
replenish
becomes,
himself.
as a skeleton and then as a ghoul, stronger than he was as a human.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But of course he can't go home like this.
I think
Yeah.
Nasuth should finish his review.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm joining in.
So that kind of leads me into the first really bad section that I felt was him leaving, meeting this other rookie adventurer, and convincing her to bring him clothing so that he could go home. And then he just ditches her. Once he gets to the gate, he just ditches her. Which I understand his reasoning. He doesn't want her to get in trouble either, because undead like him are seen as really, really bad. They pervert the divine order.
She'd get really in trouble if she brought a monster back into town.
Yes.
She would get massively in trouble.
But I would have rather have seen him leave the dungeon himself and have to avoid people until he can find some clothing to steal or something. I think that would have been much more interesting than him waiting around in the dungeon for this person that he... I'm sure she'll come back later. I have the feeling that she'll just come back later. But... and then episode 3 is really good.
Too brightly coloured to be a side character.
Yeah. And then episode 3 is also really pretty good because they show us a lot about his friend. They show us some stuff about the town. I don't know what's going on with the blacksmiths, but something's going on with the blacksmiths. And then he goes back to the dungeon and meets this other adventurer down there and takes him along with him. And I'm like, this is a huge mistake. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? It makes no sense to me that he would just take this other adventurer with him to a dangerous area, an area he knows is super dangerous, given the chance that they could discover what he is at any moment the longer he keeps them near him. And he's like,
So I think
that's
you're...
more explained in episode 4.
No, I think there's a sense of apathy that... you may have not picked up on. It's sorry, not apathy, empathy. Sorry.
No, I get that. I get that. But
so the whole point is that character, he's his business has gone bankrupt. He is not an adventurer. He's come down into the dungeon / labyrinth / I can't remember what this thing's called.
Labyrinth or something like that.
To try and actually make enough, to find enough resources to sell, and then basically bring his business out.
Okay, but here's what you do. You tell the guy, go home, I will find something and bring it to you, and then you can sell it.
Yeah. Again, it gets a little bit more explained in episode 4. If I without spoiling, I say he was hoping for the guy to be telling a lie. You know, it's one of the things he thought of was maybe this guy's lying to me, being a confidence trickster, and just wants my shit. So he was actually hoping for that to be the case.
There is also another element to episode 4, which actually kind of explains the motivation as well.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly it. So he was hoping to be for this guy to be a liar, for being a con man or something. That's why he took him with him.
Yeah. Okay, that's short, but based on just these 3 episodes, that's my opinion. It's still, like I said, it's still an acquired taste. What did I give it? 3-star? Yeah. So it's still really good. It's still worth watching. I'm interested in the existential evolution. But
I think the only difference I would make here is with Xeno's weird enjoyment of anything necromancy, he would have given this a 4-star acquired taste. So I enjoy this quite a lot, but I'm always for like the undead characters. Like I always like that sort of stuff. I mean, it just rarely gets done well, even in video games. So,
this is definitely better than Era Ferretta so far.
Oh God, yeah. Not even trying. It's better, but yeah. So it's. But I think it's also interesting. Like, where is this going to go now? Because the dungeon is supposed to have been like fully explored.
Yeah.
So what else is there? So suppose
except for this secret area he's discovered.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
yeah.
Should move on.
That was how it started. So. It was him finding the secret area with the dragon.
I wasn't going to say anything, but let's move on.
But I already said it earlier anyway.
So I'm going to go on to another questionable one with Tales of Wedding Rings.
Is this another?
No, this one.
Yeah.
This one, I'm not going to say that I can't believe it's not hentai, but Xeno would. Xeno's watching it. So Xeno's putting this tag on, not me. Okay. The caution is that while it is nowhere near Gushing Over Magical Girls, it does contain topless nudity.
It also contains this old git trying to get them two to bump uglies.
Yes, but failing.
So he's touching dad or granddad.
Even having watched episode 4, okay, there's still only nudity going on, and it is only topless nudity, no full frontal, no heavy petting, no touching, no accidentally falling into the other character's tits.
No BDSM.
So definitely none of that either. So the premise of this one is an isekai. But at the start of the reverse isekai, the princess of the Kingdom of Light has come to our world to hide from the Demon King, the Abyss King, and his forces. Basically hiding the princess in another world and letting her grow up until she's able to develop her power and marry a prince to give him the power of the Ring of Light. Unfortunately, while she's in our world, she develops a best friendship and even a romance with this guy, who, when they arrive, is literally standing right there in the middle of the trees where their teleportation happens. Like, oh my God, what is going on? And a very pretty girl walks out of the light, and he's instantly enamored. And all through his, growing up through school, he's not able to confess how he feels to her. She gets very flashy, very blonde, and very gal-like in her fashion. And
doesn't know how to wear a uniform properly.
Yes, that's cleavage right down. Or you could probably
right down.
You could probably see her belly button if you're in the right angle. Still, when he gets warned that, of course, if he doesn't confess, somebody else is going to and take her away from him. So the worst thing happens is she goes back to her world, and he decides that no, I'm going to confess, and follows her through. And he walks into her wedding ceremony where she's going to marry the prince of a neighboring empire, so that she can give him the ring of power. But at that moment, her return to their world, the the Abyss King sends his demons after her. He sends her back and sends his demons after her. And in the attack, instead of kissing the prince, she kisses him and grants him the power of the Ring King, the first ring of the Ring King, Ring of Light. And he's able to fight off the demonic forces for a bit, but he's still quite weak and they have to flee. Turns out there are 5 princesses: light, wind, fire, earth, and water, and he has to marry all 5 of them
so that he could become
to
Captain
become
Planet.
the Ring King.
Yes.
So he can become Captain Planet and take on the Abyss King, who has basically the opposite powers of him.
Oh, Captain Pollution.
And-
Okay, yeah.
Captain King.
Kind of, yeah. So the first 3 episodes are literally him finding out about this world, marrying a princess and getting the Ring of Light, and then heading off on the adventure to find the next Ring Princess and marry her.
Can I correct you there?
It's okay.
Right. The first episode is finding out about the world, marrying the first princess, fighting off demons and shit. The subsequent 3 episodes is looking for the next princess.
Yes, so the first 3 episodes of that.
Hang on.
So they head off on their adventure. I thought I did. No, I haven't. No, I'm going to give this a nothing special 4 stars. Because it isn't quite an acquired taste, but it does have some parts to support it that are not the frontal nudity. So it has got a wholesome vibe going on. It is quite adorable in the fact that it is, young romance where the main character has a character he's in love with, and that's it. And so and she's coming to terms with the idea that actually she does love him, and she does want to marry him, and yet he's also not going to be solely hers. So it's an interesting little take on a harem, where the guy only wants 1 girl, but he's going to be forced to have 5. So I like that twist on a harem. So, you're sitting there kind of angry,
constipated with. Yes. See, I don't feel that this is a generic take on, a different take or a spin on a harem show. I feel that this is just going to turn into, wait, it's okay for me to have multiple girlfriends and they don't complain about it and they want to bang? I like this world! And I think I would actually rate it ever so slightly lower. I think I would rate it like either a 3 or a 2 star, nothing special. Yeah. This is not one that I really want to keep watching. The animation in the first episode was fantastic, and then they just shat their pants.
Yes.
It slips massively. Even I fucking noticed it. Right? And I'm blind to a lot of this shit.
Same here. Especially when there's titties in your face.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
High School Double D, this is not. Anyway, but the big thing is, to me, it just feels like they could have had it where our main protagonist refuses to marry any of the other characters. I mean, like, this world seems to be based it seems to be constructed just for the author's harem and fantasy, and though
the author's barely disguised fetish.
Yeah, I mean, like, all the power to you. But what happens when 2 princesses marry 2 different guys? Like, do they fuse and become the true one Ring King? Like, I mean, the whole point is that the Ring King is supposed to gain 5 wedding rings. So, like, I don't understand.
I think the idea is that, as we saw in episodes, I think it's 2 and 3 over the thing, is that the Wind Princess had an older sister that was supposed to inherit the ring. And she didn't, because she did fall in love with somebody else, and they didn't let her inherit it because he wasn't supposed to be the Ring King. And so she was actually ostracized, and she vowed to leave her people and cursed them, even verbally at least, to fall to the abyss, because she wasn't allowed to marry who she wanted because she was supposed to inherit the ring.
Yeah,
I think that's a political thing. Is that there's definitely a political nature to this. The rings of power, anyone who's supposed to inherit them has to have the political ability to marry the Ring King if he comes along.
But this princess here, sorry, I'm trying to work out how pointing works. This princess here, like, we haven't seen her for like the last 2 episodes because they're trying to get him to bump uglies with the elf princess. It's just like,
except, okay, I'm with you on that, but at the same time, they do make a point of showing it's not about him bumping uglies with her. They go to the thing of he actually stop it. You're 6 years old.
That was him putting the ring on. No, that was him putting the ring on.
Yeah, Nasuth, hit the button again.
Stop it. It's the power is transferred by a kiss anyway, so there's not really a thing. It had a wedding ceremony with this princess, because he actually wants to get married to her. But I don't know if they're going to have anything else like that going forward.
Maybe if one of the girls marries another guy, then the 2 guys have to kiss, and then he gets the power. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, that works.
Yep. We've solved it. We solved it all.
I think this is going to be one of the ones that I drop because, like, I loved the first episode. I thought the first episode was fantastic, but then when it just turned into, we're just going to turn into generic harem. Thaylien, if you're going to continue watching this, I hope you turn around and say, like, it does not go generic harem. Then I'll come back to it. But right now, it doesn't look good.
I think that I will enjoy it for generic harem. Okay, for the moment. At mid-level, it will be a show I continue with because it's not the strongest Tank Labyrinth raid.
Right, should we move on to my next one?
Sure.
I think I've only got three. Have we only got 3 left?
As we come into this, you got.
Okay. Right. So I am going to do. You should have 2.
No,
left.
I only have 2. Yeah.
So this is okay. Cool. So I'm going to cover. Sorry, coordination. What is that? Right. I'm going to cover. 'Tis Time for Torture Princess, and this is where I found out. Tis is actually spelt with an apostrophe. I did not know that for a long time.
Did you not know that?
No,
because it is. It's a contraction.
But
they put the apostrophe in the front instead of like T''is.
Yeah, this is the way that.
No.
It's actually devolution of tis.
Yeah. So I just anyway. The whole premise of this show. So this is a comedy, right? It's supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek comedy. It's very. It's interesting.
Despite the name, it's not, and I can't believe it's not hentai.
Yes, it's definitely not. But can it maintain its level of humor? That's the important thing. So, I'm going to currently give this a 1-star acquired taste. It can quite rapidly fall off into nothing special. So the whole premise is that there is a war between the human faction and the demon faction, and the princess is what's called like the leader of the 3rd Legion 8th Battalion or something like this, and she's a champion in her own right. She has a magical talking sword and everything, which basically she ends up in this battle and she gets captured. She gets captured and brought to the Demon King's castle, and there she is tortured. But the torture methods behind this are fucking hilarious. It's like, I'm gonna eat this buttered toast in front of you, and it's just like they're constantly trying to
I want
convince
that buttered toast.
Yeah, they're bribing her with food, right? Tell us your secrets, and we will give you buttered toast, right? So it's a dumb fun show. Don't get me wrong. But can it maintain its humor? Thus far, it has managed to do so with 3 episodes. But I mean, look at the Masterful Cat is depressed. No. Masterful Cat was depressed again today is, I think, a good example where the joke is the same every time. The show has thus far realized, like, okay, we've done what we can with this. We now need to introduce another character to inject new forms of levity and things like this. So a lot of the scenes and everything are depicted in this prison cell. And, you know, she's playing video games with some of her torturers. Every single time she divulges a secret, she's allowed to do something else, allowed to do something fun, right? So they're not torturing her in the sense of beating her up or anything. It's just a case
more like
of
being grounded and having your privileges removed.
Kind of. It's not torture. It's more bribery.
It's diplomatic torture in the sense you can't actually hurt her because she's a princess, but you can do everything else to psychologically encourage her to do what you wanted.
I mean, it's a case of if you just tell us a secret, right? We'll let you go to this amusement park, right? And it's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, we'll, and she's able to even remove her ball and chain, right? It's just like, it's not even locked. It's just, she just takes it off. She could just walk out if she wanted to, but I don't know if she's too stupid to realize she can do that. Her sword, believes in her that she's she's tough. She's made of tough shit, and she won't just back down and give you. And she'll tell them things like, oh yeah, the guard rotation on Saturday mornings is really weak on the eastern gate. And they present the news to the Demon King, and the Demon King's like, Saturday's chairs, oh yeah. It's like, Saturday morning, no good. And it's just like, wait, what? Yeah, he has his favorite anime shows on Saturday morning, so he won't do anything Saturday morning. Get something else out of her. So it is very tongue-in-cheek. It is very funny, but can it live up to it? That's the important part. So I'm definitely going to keep watching this. Fingers crossed. It is funny. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That does sound pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let's do Metallic Rouge.
Cool.
So Metallic Rouge, I kinda, the first episode didn't really totally have me, but since then, the second episode really had me, and so it's gone up to, in my opinion, an acquired taste 4-star. It's really good. Not a must watch. I don't think it's a must watch. Because you've got to like sci-fi, and you've got to like the kind of bounty hunter-y mystery sort of thing that's going on. But it does. I mean, the art style is really good. There are some dark themes going on. I was hoping for Armitage, but I got Cowboy Bebop mixed with Bubblegum Crisis mixed with Pluto. So I mean, those are three really good things. It's pretty good. Well, they do technically have power suits. I'm not sure that's really the best way to describe their transformations, but they do have transformations. I'm not going to tell you, who has them, but they do have them in here. I'm sure you can guess at least one of them. Aside from needing nectar and looking a little weird, the Nans, which is what you see on the screen right here, is a Nan, are basically the robots. But they're functionally not really different from humans except for one really vital thing, and this is kind of where you start getting into the darker aspects of it: the subjugation of their will by the Asimov protocols. They literally can't do certain things, but even if they wanted to, they may have the will, but they literally couldn't. There's something in their brain that stops them, and I think that adds a really dark element to it. But this is all set against the backdrop of Mars, which is, do they say how long ago the war was?
No,
I don't know.
Not that I recall.
So at one point there were aliens that appeared, and these aliens were good. I can't remember what they called them, but they were good aliens, and so we made friends with them. And then they left, and then another group of aliens came, and those were bad aliens. So they called them usurpers. And there was a big war against them, and in that time they created Nans for battle to fight against them. There were 11 specifically.
No, I thought it was 9.
9.
I can't remember.
Which were these big powerful ones, kind of like Rouge. And so the goal of Rouge and her friend is to hunt down these 9 for reasons that they haven't really fully gone into yet. And yeah, but you get to see like relics of the old wars still scattered around. There's a lot of high technology going on here. There's some apartheid going on in the third episode. I mean, it's got a lot of really good stuff going for it.
So to add on to what Nasuth's saying, the first off, this is Studio Bones, right? Bones have done some incredible stuff in the past, and this is an original work, right? So this is not adapted from anything. There is a lot of potential to be good here, and I like how you stole my description of it being Cowboy Bebop meets Tokyo 2040.
I don't remember you saying Tokyo 2040, but I do remember you saying Cowboy Bebop
meets Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040.
I don't remember you saying that, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
He lies. Anyway, but it's a case of like the artistic feel of the show just screams Cowboy Bebop. They're having conversations over food, right? They're a lot of it is, instead of just being cold, hard rooms, it is a lot more of a vibrant world. They go from city to city on Mars, and they distinctly
even the slums
feel different.
Are vibrant in their own way. I mean, they're vibrant in their depressiveness.
Yeah. So it's a really, really interesting show, and it has a lot of potential. I really think that this has the potential of being an incredible original work of the year. And I do love my Power in Pursuit type shows, so I'm always down for that.
And I like what you said about the everywhere you go is vibrant, because it just proves it's not designed by the English. because the English know that places like Scunthorpe exist.
What got me in the second episode is they've boarded like this land cruiser thing. They're going from one city to another. It's basically a bus. And in the process of this, they get attacked, and there's this old lady on the bus. Like the guy that's driving it doesn't really know what he's doing. The computer does it all for him. Yeah. And this old lady comes up and she's like, I used to be a driver, let me do it. And man, she just tears ass just through the desert. It is incredible. She is amazing. That just made it for me.
I think another side of it is that, again, it's the same episode. They're on this bus trip and everything, and this guy's talking to these kids, and the way he is talking to them, he talks about like this wrecked ship and things, like an alien war and all this, and it kind of just felt like he is just talking down to these kids, right? He is talking like he's trying to be oh shit, what's the
superior?
Patronizing. No, he's trying to be patronizing. He's trying to
a storyteller, but
it's like, oh, that's the big bad wolf, and that kind of thing. But then when you see later on the remnants of the war, and it's just like, oh shit, even though he delivered the narrative in such a way that it sounded like he was just telling a ghost story to kids, that's how it actually happened. And I like that sort of thing. I like that.
It was a way to give the audience information without feeling like an info dump. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of good going on in this. But I don't want to. I can't say it's a must watch, and I don't want to rate it higher than a 4-star yet.
Cool. Right. Thaylien.
So this one is the only one I'm not. Last of the ones I'm watching that isn't watched by either of you two, and that's Mashle Season 2. Magic and Muscles. Good lord. And this one has upped the game from the previous, so I'm going to give it an acquired taste 5-star.
Wow.
So, in a world where not only is everyone born with magic, but they've also gotten rid of anyone that wasn't born with magic in the past. Mash Bernadette, is born without it, and his adopted grandfather tried to hide him away until he was old enough to defend himself. And Mash had nothing to do except train, and is basically One Punch Man in a magical world. But in the end of the first season, other people find out that he's got no magic.
Spoilers.
So in the start of this season, he's being brought up on that. It's the premise of this season is that he has been found out, and the authorities come for him and are on the verge of executing him until the support he's got from the school headmaster and from other people he's impressed give him a stay of execution. And they basically challenge him to do what he was already doing before, which is to become one of the chosen few, the people that run the country. So he earn his place through the school to become their valedictorian, basically. But they're the one that's guaranteed to join the government. And if he can do that with no magic, then they will admit that there is some changes that need to be made to their system, and they won't kill him. Okay?
That's totally fair. Yeah.
It's basically being the exception can prove the rule wrong. Means that. So we start out with some fairly innocuous hijinks, like scenes where they're going and playing a magical game that seems to bring out their deepest fears. So if you roll a 100-sided die, and whatever you land on, it seems to bring out what your worst fear is. So the girl lands on a square that just says, "You get arrested for stalking the person you like, lose 200 money and go to jail." Whereas the guy that's obsessed with his younger sister and trying to, he's there to cure her illness, lands on a square that says, "Your sister has brought home her first boyfriend. Redo from start." There's scenes like this one where they go to the wand shop to pick up some new wands, and Mash finds the one wand that is perfectly suited for him. It doesn't seem to do anything, but it weighs a ton. And if you can lift it up, if you can lift it up, wherever it lands on the ground, a spring of magical water flows up, which the wand shop owner is absolutely thrilled about if Mash can move it, because the water is some pure magical water that will help him create better wands, and that's why he bought it in the first place.
I don't think I want to know what I'm looking at right now.
That's a balloon animal, but it's like a demon?
Oh yeah, this is how he convinces the people to save it. One of the judges is infected with a worm that's clamped onto the back of his neck, and that controls his actions, and it's put on there by the mysterious enemy that all of the actual serious people are talking about.
Voldemort.
And Mash rips it off the back of his neck, not knowing that the first thing it'll try to do is take him over instead. It will try to leak down his throat, and so he ties it into a knot with his tongue.
My God. And
spits it back out again. Everyone thinks he's sacrificed his life, and he's actually he's just too strong. So he, in the same way that you tie a knot on a cherry stem with your tongue as a challenge, he tied it into a balloon animal and spat it back out on the ground to save himself. And so everyone realizes, oh no, he could do something that we genuinely cannot do, which is, deal with these weird worms that take over your body. And so the joke is still that he's just strong, but they're bringing in the more serious side of things with the shadowy groups that are in the background, the test to become this valedictorian of their school, the progress that he's made, and of course with the threat of execution over him. So it's more of Mashle, but still expanding the world, which is why it's actually gone up in my ratings. So if you like Mashle in the first place,
are these the Slytherins? These look like Slytherins.
No, there isn't really Slytherins. We already dealt with the Slytherins. These are the independents. So the only other group there is, and this guy doesn't actually want to be the valedictorian. He just wants to have raw power, and has quite a lot of it. And so he just wants to fight with somebody who's strong. Apparently, Mash is strong, and so he tries to take him on. We don't know where it's going yet. We don't know how big this is going to be. It loves mixing the serious with the silly, and that's exactly what Mashle's all about. So, if you like One Punch Man but also like Harry Potter, watch Mashle. It's a fun show.
I like one of those things,
and it's just expanding. So I quite like it.
Right, should we move on?
Sure.
Nasuth's like, yes, please, God, yes.
No,
right,
it's fine.
I'm going to do The Dangers in My Heart season. Right. So between this and Hokkaido, I was going to say Honkai. Hokkaido gals are super adorable. 100% my attention on The Dangers in My Heart season 2. I have seen the first season. I quite enjoyed the first season. It's very much a coming of age series where boy meets girl, girl's eating too much junk in the library where she shouldn't. Boy secretly falls in love with girl but is acting like angsty teenage boy, girl likes boy, so on and so forth. It's nothing overtly special, but the animation is really good and the narrative is really good. I can't give this a must watch. I would give this a 3-star Acquired Taste.
A lot of solid 3 stars this season so far.
Yeah, I am noticing a distinct lack of must watch. But I mean, yeah. Anyway,
a lot of Acquired Taste though.
Yeah. So I find this series enjoyable. It's interesting how the kids get flustered when things are happening. So these two characters here, these two side characters, I really, really like. So the girl is chubbier than your stereotypical anime character, and she likes the guy, and the guy likes the girl because she is not a string bean, right? He likes her because she's got some meat to her bones.
So he's a chubby chaser.
He likes them thick girls.
He does often say things that are just like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, we're in public, shut up. But again, it's funny. They do often do things that are a bit angsty. It's just like, oh my fucking God, stop being so melodramatic with it. But if it's a teen
romance drama, that makes sense.
Incredibly teenage.
Yeah. So I enjoy it. Again, it's the second part. They are kind of taking it in a bit of a different direction because the first season, a lot of it was spent him helping her try and hide her eating habits in the library, right? And even though the faculty know she's eating in the library and they have caught her out doing this because she's been throwing her rubbish in the library bins and things, she would always do it in season 1, but for season 2 they've really changed gears and they're just trying to kind of make them into more of a relationship. So I enjoy it, but it's not going to be for everyone. It's also rated really highly on Mal, which I'm surprised.
Something that I'm definitely not going to get into too much because it's just another romance comedy. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's probably my least.
If it's what you're into, then you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that? I would have thought Slice of Life is your least favorite.
I mean, they're very, very similar in a lot of ways.
Anyway, right. Should we move on to the final round?
It's the fine. I'm not going to try to sing that. Nope. Started that one. Decided halfway through. Nope. Let's abort. Let's just pull out of that. So let's do Bang Bravern.
Yeah.
Let's go Bang Bravern instead. So this is
has a special rating, doesn't it?
If I could rate it a what the fuck, then just leave it there. I would. But since that's not an actual rating, it's acquired taste 2-star. Which is underneath that now.
I love that. I love this merged.
There you go. There you go. I like it. I really like it. I really, it could go so bad because it's so weird. I really can't tell if this is one of the greatest comedies ever or a steaming pile of poop. It's just, whew. So the premise here is, it starts out as, I don't think I can talk about this without giving away the twist in episode 1.
Well, it's episode 1. I mean, like,
yeah, but it's also a huge twist.
Go on then.
I think I'm just gonna say it. Okay, all right. So it starts out as a real robot show, right? We're watching a group of mecha that are doing like training exercises and stuff. They go into detail about like, they're being supported by people in a plane in the air. It's these different groups doing it. And at first you think it's actual war, but then they switch up on you and let you know that it's all just training exercises. And then the aliens attack. And humans stand no chance. I mean, they're just obliterating them left and right. And then suddenly, when things look their darkest, Bravern shows up. And Bravern is a super robot. He's not a real robot. He's 100% a super robot. Very akin to Gurren Lagann, because as soon as he gets his pilot, which is Asami, he runs on fucking burning passion. He will not do his attacks. I don't think he can do his attacks unless Asami screams them out with passion. He sings his own theme song in the first episode, and Asami is going, "What the fuck? Where is this coming from? Why are you doing this?" So he acknowledged, oh my god. Unlike Shinji, who has no reasons to not go in the robot, Asami has so many reasons to not get in there. But thanks to somehow how some of the humans have treated him, they waterboard him in the second episode because they think he might be in league with the aliens. He has so many reasons to not get out of the robot too.
Wait. They waterboard the pilot?
Yes, they waterboard him because they think he might be in league with the... Bravern shows up out of nowhere. He has technology that is on par with the aliens, and he will only let Asami pilot him. So they, some of the Americans think that he might be in league with the alien because that's what Americans do, And so they waterboard him to try and get answers out of him. Of course, waterboarding, torture's never a good, reliable method to get information, but they do it anyway.
America.
Bravern is a literal Shinobu, extremely over-romanticizes things, like his first experience with Asami inside him. Yep, it's like Transformers meets Evangelion meets Gurren Lagann with a heavy comedic tone, except when there's torture happening, like I said, or humanity being wiped out. The inorganic alien designs are neat, but also why do they have humanoid-type robots alongside those? I don't understand. If they're completely inorganic life, they actually make a point of having... No, go ahead.
Oh no, my introduction. Sorry. It was unless these aliens have encountered Bravern before and are trying to imitate humanoid form because of it.
I think Bravern is one of them, but he doesn't agree with their conquering of other planets. Because that's a very sort of tokusatsu thing to do. They actually make a point of having Bravern educate the humans on how to more effectively fight the robots. He's like, if you're just shooting at them, they'll concentrate their shields in that location, and you'll never penetrate them. But if you do that, and then you also attack from the side or the back, bam, you're in luck. And because this takes place in Hawaii, there's a lot of really bad English, and this is one of the inorganic robots, by the way.
Nice.
It's a lot of really bad English, and it's so great. I love it. But yeah, it's really, I don't know how to explain this show. It's so weird and so funny. and just oh my god, hits so many of these tokusatsu tropes and super robot tropes, but also has this really weird serious tone too. I don't understand how they do this. Oh, this is side games, by the way. So
why they do this.
Just say the animation's pretty good. The 3D animation is excellent. Yeah. There you go. Bang Bravern.
Fair enough.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So my last one is one that both of you are watching.
Sorry. One more quick thing to add. I do want to note that Laws didn't like some of the things that I liked about the torture and some of the other stuff. So, you may find the tone to be a problem. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
At least a tonal whiplash.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, okay, my last one is the one that you guys have also been watching is Delicious in Dungeon. I'm surprised I got to review this one. We'll have to take the random roll that we get. And so I'm putting this, I'm not sure everybody agrees, at a must-watch 1 star.
I basically agree. I think I'm 2 star.
Yeah. It is a really good quality show. And what we've seen is funny, inventive, different from the normal fantasy dungeon crawling shows. It is a weird one, though. We start out following a party of very strong adventurers who've got down to a very strong level of the dungeon and get defeated by a dragon. And our protagonist's sister pushes him out the way and gets eaten by the dragon for her trouble.
But it's okay.
This is a world where you can. I love this. I love this expression. Sorry. It's a world where you can get revived if they can find your body and bring you back to the surface and use magic to revive you. Apparently, multiple of our adventurers have in fact died before in that way. They go on about, oh yeah, that was how I first died, and talk about their adventures like that. But the protagonist is convinced that the reason they didn't get on in that dungeon in the first place is because they weren't eating right and experiencing and were fatigued and they hadn't had a good meal before they went into the battle. And so he is convinced that because the things in the dungeon are alive, you can eat them. And so we should be able to forage off the land while we go down and have a really good time doing this. But the goal was supposed to be save his sister before she's digested by a dragon. And
luckily, dragons digest very slowly, so it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. They even make a joke of there was a guy that was resurrected from shredded by a monster, and do you think she could be resurrected from poop? So there's a dark side of that. There's a very dark side in the fact that there's actually dead adventurers around that nobody's come to pick up yet. That nobody's gone down to rescue and revive. But for some reason, they get lucky, and there is a dwarf that they run into who has been experimenting with cooking in the dungeon and cooking dungeon monsters for a long time already.
Can I interject?
Yes.
A large part of their concern is the reason why they kind of headstrong jump into the dungeon with very little food preparation is because they're concerned that A, they don't have the money, and B, the time it would take to get kitted out to go that far down into the dungeon, the sister's going to get digested and they won't be able to resurrect her. So they're kind of jumping head first, right?
Yes, but they're not also. So there is that drive. Let's go save my sister. But then suddenly, oh yeah, let's stop on each floor and have a really nice meal, and find out whether we can cook this. So they are inventive. They have, there's a theory about mandrake roots, and the mage says that if you pull them by use of another thing, when you're far enough away so that the mandrake scream can't affect you. That's how you gather the ingredient, but the dwarf says, no, you just pull them and stab them before they can scream. And it ends up, the ones that he stabs before they can scream are really bitter, but the one that she pulls out by means of another monster hooks up to it, and it flies around, letting it scream its lungs out, seems to get all the bitterness out at the same time. You know, hang on, why do they have time for this?
Yeah.
But other inventive ones, like they go down to another floor and they find living armor.
Oh, can we?
And
I kind of want people to just
You want
watch
to spoil
that.
this? Okay.
Yeah, and it turns out that that's how this is our protagonist on the right here, and it turns out that his first death was to living armor. So
very bad for him.
He got one of their swords, but one of the other living armor stabbed him. So I love the premise of this, of finding, about
exploring
how
a dungeon
inventive they can be with this dungeon
in a different way, like the trap room.
Yes.
Right. They find a trap room.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna go too much into detail. But instead of just disarming the traps, they're like, but we could use this to cook.
We can cook with this. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm surprised. So the thing is, if they weren't supposed to be on a time deadline that they're trying to beat, to find and defeat a dragon to save his sister, I would be far more at ease with this. As it is, I'm getting the nag as the audience, getting the nagging feeling they're taking too long. While these guys seem to be just like, da-di-da-di-da, let's go, ooh, what's that? Does it taste delicious?
I mean, but they are making progress, and they do need food. So I mean,
I mean,
maybe they have no
got
sense of urgency, while we, the audience, do.
I mean, maybe it's a case of they know how long it's going to take to actually get there, and But I kind of agree with you. It'd be nice if, like, we have 1 week to get down 5 floors. We could easily do this, right? Okay, cool. Now we have some kind of frame of reference that you think you could do it in 1 week, right? But
yes.
But it is Studio Trigger also, so the animation is super, super good.
Oh, it's so nice. It's like, and I love the fact that it seems like they've really paid tribute to the original art style of the ears, right? The ears are like the most non-anime ears you've ever seen, or non-traditional anime ears. It honestly is a brilliant
also
series.
non-traditional elf ears as well.
Yeah.
And having the halfling trapmaster, I like the interaction between some of the characters. So the halfling trapmaster is scout and everything, and the dwarf chef. It's like the halfling doesn't like people interfering with him while he works, and the dwarf just kind of walks all over his boundaries.
Yeah.
But then they bond over that fact where the dwarf sets up. Okay, well, these are my boundaries, and these are yours. So here, you go do this because you've said that that's your stuff. And he teaches him to cook a bit, and in that, he's expanded the halfling's repertoire and taught him to cook. And so that kind of just helps them bond as teammates. So it's actually quite nice.
I wish we had a Ken Watanabe to say, "Let them cook."
The one thing I'm hoping changes sooner rather than later is Marciel's reaction. The elf girl's her reactions to the prospect of eating this food, because she's always super grossed out, and then it turns out to be really good. So like at some point, sooner rather than later, she needs to realize, maybe this will be fine. Otherwise, it becomes a little bit of a bad running gag,
I'm genuinely impressed, though, that they did have a thing where they tried out 3 methods of cooking a monster, and the first 2 turned out okay, but the third one they got wrong. And it was this.
Now I've learned this for the future.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's not always perfect.
Should we move on?
Yeah. Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah, we could probably talk a lot longer about this one, but go watch it yourself.
I also think, it's actually really nice that this is the must-watch of the series. But it is time to talk about the last show of of this review, and it is Chained Soldier. Not to be confused with the word slave at any point in time during the course of the original Japanese title. Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so Chained Soldier is...
They're the prisoners with jobs, you mean?
Chain Soldier is a series about how, in a world setting where girls are able to gain powers through the use of a resource called a peach that comes from another dimension, women basically become the
dominant group.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think, like, basically, you know, they have all the jobs, right? Men
It's
became
the matriarchy, not the patriarchy.
Yes,
Right,
men
yes.
are stay-at-home husbands as opposed to women who are, you know, the bread earners or the breadwinners, so on and so forth. Now, the reason for these these peaches is that they are from another dimension that basically it periodically intersects ours. And the what's called monsters, so basically people get kidnapped, monsters start invading, so on and so forth, and there is a specific platoon of female soldiers that effectively take up residency in this other dimension to stem the tide of the monsters trying to get to our world. They also try to rescue people that get sucked up in the whenever an intersection happens and this. So they're quite interesting. But our two main characters, this being one of them, as she's losing her shit, and the guy that we have previously seen, they form a contract. Now, basically, her ability is she can enslave effectively anything and make them super powerful and super strong in things. She basically turns the guy into one of the monsters that they are fighting, but he is super tough, super powerful, so on and so forth, and he is able to wreck shit. So they'll
Does he retain his own mind while he's in that form?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He retains his own individuality and things like this. But the fourth episode, which I've seen, it kind of explores a lot more into some of the powers less seen effects. So it's not just a case of the power works by transforming him, but the power works better if she's riding him. Like they're able to share power. You get the idea. This is, however, the third show that deserves the stamp of I can't believe this is not hentai. And I would probably give this a... I don't know.
It's a 5-star must-watch, isn't it?
No. I think I'm going to give this a 3-star acquired taste. Right? I am enjoying this, but there is so much of this that can just be like go wrong and things like this. Yeah. I mean, one of so all the girls in the platoon, they have different powers. One of the girls has the ability to mimic anything, right? So she can turn her arm into a minigun, or she can turn her arm into a sword, or she can mimic anything, mimic other people's powers and stuff like this. At the same time, another girl, she has the ability to control her size, so she can either get super tiny or super huge, right? But she has to be careful as she does this because it really burns through her stamina. So if she's not her normal size, she will just like tire out really easily. But it does have plenty of lewd moments. Yeah, it's a fun series. There's still so much that we don't know and understand. It could go south. It could remain good. I don't know. But this is definitely one I'm going to continue watching. For now, at least.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is it another case of the author's barely disguised fetish, though? Or is that just like...
I don't think so. I think if this is the
trying to be
author's
more of a
barely
romance?
disguised... No, not necessarily. I think this is trying to be more shonen. I think this is trying to be. I think this is trying to be like your power fantasy. I think this is like, you know, the main protagonist in the shadows of the greatest hero, right? It's like you don't really understand, like, you know, where they're coming from. Like, this is her with the minigun arm. So yeah, it's
Interesting.
It's interesting. It is interesting, but it definitely won't be for everyone. This is him imagining what his life would be like if he just went into the corporate world, because he's like given the opportunity of like, oh, come be part of our platoon. And what he doesn't realize is becoming part of their platoon is he becomes the dorm manager. He just looks after the property. Anyway,
Right.
so yeah, I think that is it for the reviews.
We managed to get through all of them, and we've only gone a couple of hours.
Yeah, you know, it'll only take half an hour to get through the rest of the show.
Right, okay, so it is time to move on to the supporter questions. So, I need to zoom in. So first of all, Zrugel says, before we start the supporter questions, I just want to thank you, everyone, for listening to our to our podcast so far. We really appreciate all the likes and comments and everyone leaves on these episodes. And please, you know, let us know what your thoughts and feels are of solo leveling. Like, Nasuth and I have had a non-zero number of people saying, like, solo leveling is the fucking best, and like, we just don't get it.
Maybe I'll figure it out by the end.
Maybe. Zru also says, is your co-hosts
sorry, if your co-host. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
If your co-hosts were Pokemon, what type would they be? Bonus points if you give them a signature move, right? So Thaylien would be obnoxious, and
Stop it.
The bonus the signature move would be pun-rific.
What type would I be? Not what,
obnoxious.
What Pokemon would I be?
Huh?
Come on, Pokemon types. Do you know what Pokemon types
obnoxious.
Are? That's not a type.
There would be a
What type is
specific
it?
type just for you, called obnoxious. And
Right,
the move would be pun-rific.
Then I'm going to give you a normal type. Your signature move is going to be rollout.
I was gonna say, what type is Snorlax?
Yes. No,
You'll be whatever type of Snorlax is, and your special move will be consume noodles.
Yeah.
Seems a joke.
Nasuth gets a ghost type. Nasuth gets a ghost type, and his signature is in snare, where he wraps around a target.
Seems legitimate. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So, Riku7 asks, if your co-hosts were Warframes, what type would they be? Bonus points if you can name... if you can name where the parts drop. Xeno cannot be Oberon. Thaylien cannot be Zephyr. Nasuth cannot be Excalibur Prime. So, Nasuth will be Zephyr.
Thaylien will be Oberon, and Xeno will be Excalibur Prime.
There we go, problem solved.
Clearly, Xeno is Ember, and his parts drop from the fight with Ballas. You know, there you go.
I'm surprised that I'm not. Shit, what's the Grendel?
Stinkynax?
Okay.
Oh, Grendel, yeah.
I love how.
No, you're going to have to be forced to be Ember again.
Yeah, fine. Thaylien would be Oberon.
Excellent. So I get to hit things with a hammer and be the goat. Nice.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
And Nasuth would be... I don't know why Necros. Fancying it.
Sure.
It's the fingies. He's got the right fingies for it.
Cool. Yeah, seems legitimate. Right. Birdthay asks, before we finish the supporter questions, I just want to say, Discord meme submissions give me life, because they're way better than mine. You guys out there have such a good sense of humor, and I wish I could meme as hard as you all.
I mean,
as all of you, rather.
You've been memeing on me pretty hard this week.
Have they?
Yeah.
He has.
He has. Yeah, I have.
Right.
Faye.
And then finally he says, if the cast were to provide audio role plays for relaxation and sleep, which are like ASMRs without the intrusive noises, what characters would you like to portray?
Pingu.
Ooh.
Solid Snake.
Mmm.
Because I've been doing that way too much. What?
Mr. Blobby. You're Mr. Blobby.
Fuck off.
Right. It's a really easy roleplay. We get the whole script as a blobby.
Anyway, right.
Then
So
Alfred from
moving on
Batman,
to
'cause
the
I could be
comments.
quite good at Master Bruce.
God.
Yeah,
Moving on to
that sounds
Wash
good.
the Wine. Right, moving on to the comments. So first of all, we have the news. Rugel says, I think it's good Valve is putting more hurdles so people can't just generate crap games just to flood the market. Yep. I have no sympathy for the management at Unity. They are driving that company into the ground. My heart goes out to the salary workers, though. Personally, I think they should just, if they have problems, just quit, just go somewhere else. It's not that easy, but it's easier.
No, I think he's talking about the ones that got laid off, but anyway.
Oh, shit. Yes, of course. Sorry, that was the topic. I heard there was some controversy about the plus-size elf show. Barbara Streisand effect engaged.
Yep. You know about the Barbara Streisand effect, right?
Definitely.
All I just know is that Barbara Streisand was the butt of a lot of jokes from South Park. That's all I know.
Yeah. No, basically, people made up controversies about her, so she became more popular because of it.
No. She asked people to not take pictures of her house, I think, or to take pictures off the internet, and so they spread them everywhere instead.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing. But yeah, more popularity.
Stromba Shell says, speaking Pokemon, I think especially speaking of Pokemon knockoffs, YouTube just recommended I watch someone's playthrough Disc Creatures, like right now. Fair enough.
I've never even heard of that.
I assume that's off the back of Power World stuff?
Yeah.
Did we talk about Power World? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Right. And now for last week's comments from the cast, Stromba Shell says, I wouldn't say Black Lagoon is grimdark. They're just in the real world, and sure they can be grim, but to be a grimdark anime, it should be more than the perspective of the cast.
I don't know about that.
I think Dead Man Wonderland is grimdark, and from what I hear, Made in Abyss would be too. Yes, Dead Man Wonderland would actually be grimdark in that regard. I wouldn't have put Black Lagoon... Sorry, Rugel says I wouldn't have put Black Lagoon in grimdark category, but I can see it. If Chainsaw Man is grimdark, then Undead Unluck is also grimdark. I'll allow it.
But nobody else knows about the Umas and the... Anyway. Yeah.
Right. Would the Guyver be grimdark?
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, it does have that hopeful vibe to it, but
yeah, that's the thing.
Nothing
it's
really
not just,
does. There's always another bigger bad out there,
It's not just
that falls under...
Because the other side of it is that no one knows at all that, he exists, right? It's the thankless job, so to speak, but no one knows that the Zoanoids are around. No one knows that, all the fighting and stuff is,
even when he's Guyver Gigantic.
Yeah. But I think this falls under the...
Okay, can we hit the spoilers for a second? Because seriously, this is okay. So,
shoot, where's the ratings? I need to bring this back over here where I can see it.
Right.
All right.
Why didn't that work? Hit it again.
Hang on.
Because we're not on the small people.
There we go.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Right, spoilers. Right. So, giving everyone a hot second, because in case that you don't want to actually hear this stuff about the manga, I mean, fuck if it ever comes out. But effectively, the Guyver's kind of, again, still secret. But at one point in time, one of the Zoolords by the name of Khan ends up mind controlling all the Zoanoids in Tokyo, right? All of them, to converge on the Kronos headquarters in Tokyo to then form Dragon Khan, which is basically this Godzilla-sized monster, right? It's absolutely fucking massive. To which then Sho turns into gigantic Exceed, right? Which is basically Godzilla-sized Guyver, right? However, yes, he defeats Khan and everything, but there's no one left alive to know that he was there.
oh, fuck. Okay, all right. Fair enough then, I guess.
So it's like, right, you can turn off the spoilers now.
Oh my god. Why did that not turn off? Turn off spoiler. There we go.
Okay.
That's like the Warframe spy tactic. They can't sound the alarms if there's nobody alive.
Dead.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, right. So to answer Rugal's question, I don't know.
I would put that under the same thing of my hot take. I think if Guyver's grimdark, then so is shonen anime, where every season there's a newer, bigger enemy to fight. So
yeah. So Zrugal also says, I have used the skip spoilers a few times in this episode. I want to thank you guys for that. You're welcome. That's why we do it.
What can I say?
We tried.
All right.
Even though there's Spoiler King Nasuth here. Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the memes. So the memes this week, they all basically come from Reddit, but obviously we have some memes coming from you guys. As far as I can tell, we've only got 3 this week. So, I mean, guys, you gave us 6 last week. We were so happy.
You gave us 7 last week.
That's true. That is true. Right. So let's meme.
All right. What? Sticking out your can for the Rezel? You're so Shibudi.
Okay, so there's a meme going around where they took a song, sticking out your butt for sticking out your tongue for the picture, and somebody went over it with the stupid memes of the younger generation, which is sticking out your gat for the Rizzler. You're so skibbity, you're so Phantom Tax. I just want to be your Sigma. Yeah. And so this is a take on that. So sticking out your Gyan for the Rezol, you're so chibbity, you're so Phantom Tax. I just want to be your Sigma.
I don't know if that Gundam's actually called Sigma Gundam. I have no idea what Gundam that is.
Eta or something? I don't know.
I just no idea what Gundam that is.
That's Sigma. That's Sigma.
But it's Sigma. Still.
I know that
is meme on top of meme on top of meme that the old people just will not get.
I don't get it. I don't get you kids' humor. All right.
Next.
No, the blood is too explicit. We must make this drawing family friendly. Much better. Approved for all ages.
Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god.
The famous white
China
censorship of blood.
Yep, China Y. Oh my god! That is fantastic. That is the best. That is holy amazing. Shit. I love that.
Right. Oh, all right. Do you still like time travel? You belong to me now, Guts.
It's the real reason Griffith wanted to be reborn. See, I like this, but
oh, sorry. No, you wanted to say? You wanted to say something?
I like the concept, but the idea that Griffith would have massive anime titties is just they would be just as androgynous in female form as they are in male.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you guys know that mom in Japanese is okasan and mommy is more like mama, and for dad it's otosan, for daddy it's gojo satoru.
I've seen this one before. Yeah.
Nice.
I better get out of here while I still can.
You decided to talk to the new girl, and she's automatically asking you what your son.
I'd be out too.
Yep.
This is totally going to get us copyright struck. I'm going to have to mute the shit out of this. It's really good though. I really like this. It does the whole opening though, so I should probably stop, and you should all just go watch that in the memes links below.
This looks buggered.
Oh no, it didn't. Why? Right. So, Hogwarts professionals, after sending a bunch of kids into the Forbidden Forest, just sitting there drinking tea.
Yep,
Yep, that's...
they're not wrong.
And my last one.
Motherfucker, it was you!
Yep, I went for all the copyright strikes today.
Yep.
Fucking... So, I picked this meme, right? I swear I got it in the doc before he did, but I was the one that had to fucking change mine.
Nope, I got mine in first.
Well,
I got all of mine in first.
Xeno's always wrong.
Fuck you.
Nasuth's first one was my one. Accurate translation of the original Japanese versus the Western dub inserting Christian conservative propaganda.
Oh, God.
Huh? There's something here. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior? Hanako, in the name of Jesus. She looks like a patient who was very nice to me at that time. So when I volunteered at the wonderful Exodus homosexual conversion camp, I met the woman who was who looked just like a lesbian. I mean, woman. Just one line, they said.
Oh.
That is the only time that the localizers have done an amazing job. No, I'm kidding.
Somebody hates cats.
Yeah. All right.
Hello, everyone. Oh, how are you? Fine, thank you. Oh my god.
No.
Okay then.
No.
It will always exist.
Yes.
Monkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I had the
I tried to give this meme to Xeno, but then I tried to give this meme to Xeno, and then unfortunately NASA stole mine, so I had to swap it for this. How are we producing so much milk on this farm without any cows? It's a secret.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Sell why? Why did you do that, Sell?
Oh my god.
I swear I've seen this before, but I don't care. It's so good.
I
right.
haven't, yeah. This is my first one.
Oh my god.
Not wrong.
Oh god, this one!
How did I suddenly stumble into furry porn?
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Yep. Is that the one you had to replace because I
That's
took
the one I
yours?
had to replace.
Yeah, I rejected this one.
Son of a bitch. Dwayne Johnson has been granted full ownership of the Rock trademark. Yep. Solo leveling, half. Gushing over, whatever, overrated as hell. Gushing over magical girls, 5 stars. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mentioned the pasties. There's the pasties.
Yep.
The ending. Those who don't know, those who know.
Okay.
It's school days.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Okay. Now I know.
The school days, right?
All right.
Next.
And your last one. Oh, God.
Oh.
And immediately into another one, right? Right? Immediately into another one. And then it loops, I assume. Or it would if I'd set it up to loop.
Yeah, I didn't want you to.
Squeaky noises.
Oh, it's adorable. And so accurate to the show.
Actually, no, that was the one I had to replace because that one was going to be my the one that yeah, because you're a bastard.
But I'm a thief, so I win.
Bastard. Right, that's it for this week's episode of Kanpai Cast. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching / listening. And now it is time to bottoms up and Kanpai. I wonder if anyone actually does that when we do that. I'm really...
Let us know in the comments if you do that when we do that.
Yeah, let us know.
Absolutely. Please do.
Let us know how many people just stare at you randomly when you